a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. Oh, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause I'd start over now. Rewind, and I won't let you go. I need you by my side. I'm done, I'm gone, so don't run from the truth. You're lost, now I know you played me just like a flute. I still can't believe you had me on a leash, cutting all my teeth with all the lies you bring. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind, and I won't let you go. I need you by my side. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. good here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown, but we both know how to swim. No worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeling your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side.
Well, hello, Pearls. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be here, and I'm thankful for each of you. Today is July 9th, 2024. It is 7:10 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Good to see you all. Hello. Yes, please hit that thumbs up button as you're rolling in. It would be very thoughtful of you. We have a special guest today. We have John Q in the house. I've been speaking with locals and neighbors in the area concerning the Sebastion Rogers case. And what we're going to talk about is I never thought of it. I never thought of it. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. I'm just not going to come on and just tell you what it is. But I wanted to get John's thought process on this because I like the way he thinks. And he's very methodical and uh, takes the time to really think before he speaks, even, you know what I mean? And I think that's a really good thing, and it's a very rare thing that you see on YouTube. Mods, please put John's uh link in the chat periodically so people can sub up to him. Without further ado, we're going to bring John up. Hello, Mr. John.
Hello, Justin. How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I am good. I am
Good.
good. Much love to the chat. Oh, the chat. Boom, boom, boom. The chat is moving.
Yes, yes, yes.
Chat is moving.
Sorry, I apologize. Sharon, so the only rule that we have really in this chat is just be respectful to everyone. And if you have something positive to say about another creator, that's fine. But if it's negative, we just don't we don't want anything negative, right? Um, whether we agree with them, disagree with them, we just don't speak negative. So that's basically the rule here. Sorry, John. Um, how are you doing?
It's hot in New York.
Damn, it's
And
hot, isn't it?
went out, I had some runarounds to do, and commentary after commentary after commentary that's showing up from the live I did covering the Sebastion Rogers case. It's booming. I said, wow.
You had a great
And
live last night. Great
so
live.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that on that live, because I've covered 3 so far, and on that live, I wanted to get to specific visuals and details so people can see.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just having a conversation about the Sebastion Rogers case type
Mm-hmm.
thing, because that's what,
Sure.
I've heard most other people do. I want to give visuals. I want to give locations. I want to show people where and what we're talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what that live last night was about, to begin tying in the details, because once you begin to unfold the details, the clear picture, regardless of what you hear from anybody, will filter into your mind. We're not here to convince anybody about this case.
Mm-hmm.
What people see through their 5 senses is the key to,
Yes.
understanding the case for themselves. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's right. I always tell, I give people the facts and then I give my opinions, right? And I just try to make sure we know opinions from facts. And so like I said, I have been speaking to people in the neighborhood, and I do want to go over some things. Uh, but before that, I wanted to do, if you don't mind, I wanted to do a little bit of profiler Pat Brown that she did 3 months ago, and I just wanted to see if you wouldn't mind if we could go through that together.
Sure.
And then after that, that's when I'm gonna uh, really get into the nitty gritty of it, and because I've spoke with some neighbors before, but I've recently just spoke to another neighbor, and I think I've finally gained their trust. So,
Good.
uh,
Good.
so, and this person made me think about something. I'm like, why the fuck did I not think about that? And it's just so good to know another person's perspective, because what you have, what I have, what they have, what someone has in chat can really, change, you of what you think may have happened. And we will be, of course, we don't know what happened to Sebastion Rogers. I want to make that very clear. None of us do. If we
Right.
did, I think
Mm-hmm.
you'd be found by now. So we'll be expressing our opinions here today, and speculating in different areas as well.
Yeah, giving our
So,
viewpoint. Our viewpoint.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So I want to go over one of Pat Brown's lives, and this was close to 3 months ago. And if you are not subbed to Pat Brown, I would really recommend subbing up to her. There's, like I always say, there's 3 on YouTube that I really, really trust. That are profilers, and they are Pat Brown, Deception Detective, and there went my memory.
Come on
Help
now.
me out, chat.
Yeah, Peter Hyatt.
Peter Hyatt, thank you. There we go. Yeah, that's the 3. That's the 3. And I think there's a bigger channels out there now. Yeah, Steve Johnson, but does he have a YouTube channel though? If
You've
he
got
does,
you've also got Jennifer Coffin Daffer.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
RF FBI agent. She's
yeah,
also been speaking about it as well.
yeah.
So, we try to go where the source, of professionals, who have
Mhm.
background profiling and doing these things. So
Yeah.
I'm in
Steve
accord with you,
Johnson.
Justin.
Sorry.
I said I'm in accord with you.
Yeah, yeah. Steve Johnson has some really good classes to take, some like profiling type classes as well. I recommend, especially for people who are interested in this type of stuff. And um yeah, Ubers and anyone like that. So all right. So without further ado, Pat's link is in the description, and let's get started.
All right.
In things that they say that are concerning. Now, let me say this. My analysis of what they're saying, it's a statement analysis. It doesn't mean I'm right. All right. Let's just be honest about that. I can be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. And Sebastion Rogers is alive and out there. They find him. These people have nothing to do with him going missing. Great. That's a good thing. I'll take the hit. But I've watched a lot of parents of missing children speak, and there are red flags that come up with this couple. Now, could the parents be weird? Have strange ways of dealing with things? Yes, they could. And that, again, could mean they're not guilty of anything, but they just don't do well doing interviews. And they have a strange way of saying things that make things concerning, shall we say. And I recommend to these two, maybe you need to stop doing these interviews because I don't believe they're helping in any particular way. Two of you ought to be out there looking for Sebastion, papering the neighborhood with all the flyers you can, talking to local businesses to get that information up. If the reporters want to talk to you while you're staying,
I mean, I think that's a strange thing in itself, John, to be honest with you. I think we saw this in the Summer Wells case, the parents not behaving like, I don't want to say normal parents, but normal parents. Because I mean, there is everyone does respond to trauma differently, but there is also a universal way of how parents, whenever something goes down, you search for your kid. A little kitten that gets lost, right? And the mother sees it, she runs and gets it and carries it back. You know what I mean? So
Right.
why are we not seeing this out of these two?
Yeah. I asked myself the same question. You know, when we talking about parents, especially one being biological and one being non-biological,
Hmm.
we're looking for the maternal instincts of the mother. Okay, how she is responding to her child being missing.
Right.
Okay, you're going to have a lot of reaction from the mother. That is something that is connected to her biologically. So she's going to feel everything about um, her son, her daughter, and yes, it'll show. It's an expression that should show up naturally,
Yeah.
not normally, but naturally. For the
Yes.
non-biological parent, it's different. You know, there's a line there to a degree,
Hmm.
because the essence of responsibility for the biological parent, the other spouse,
Right.
and the non-biological child is their responsibility. And so how a man steps up to that responsibility, you should be able to see. Strong
Hmm.
support, strong understanding of his role and position in that relationship should bond
Hmm.
them together rather than divide them.
It really should. Well said. Well said. Holly Irish. Sorry, I apologize. Uh, Thank you so much for becoming a Pearl. Y'all, please welcome Holly Irish to the Pearl family. Appreciate your support there, Holly. Thank you.
Standing there and you just want to say, this is what we want to tell you about Sebastion. Fine. But this second interview looks more like damage control, especially from the stepdad. It looks like damage control and not actually something to help find Sebastion. So what do I mean by I think it's damage control? All right. And what do I mean by more red flags? All right. Well, they did something which maybe they should have done in the earlier interviews, which is show pictures of Sebastion and talk about Sebastion a little bit more. They do this in this interview, and that part is good. All right. But what else do they do that bothers me? All right. The mom reiterates what happened that day. And some people say she doesn't look at the camera and she looks, she's just looking down all the time. She could be medicated, just to say. She could be exhausted. So I'm going to give her a break on that. So she goes through the day again, the day before he went missing and the morning that he supposedly went missing. And I have issues with many of the things she says. All right. As far as the moment she finds he's missing from the bedroom, supposedly at 6:00 in the morning, she's changed the story a wee bit on what she did when she found he wasn't in the room. Originally, it sounded like she panicked immediately. And now she's saying, he could be getting snacks. He could be hiding behind walls because he likes to pop out and say, boo. Okay, which one is it? You went into the room and you found he was gone and you freaked, or you just thought, where is he? I guess he's doing something else. And you wandered back through the house. Maybe he's making breakfast in the kitchen. Maybe he is getting snacks. Maybe he's in the bathroom. Maybe he could be doing a lot of things. And she says in 1 minute, she's racing through the house trying to find him, as if she is in a panic. But I don't understand why you'd be in a panic that quickly over a 15-year-old. I don't, because he could be doing all kinds of things in the house. I would see he's not in the bedroom, and I'd go and, see he's not in the kitchen. I'd say, Sebastion. I might call his name out. Sebastion, what you doing? Where are you? I might go over to the bathroom to see, knock, knock. Are you in the bathroom? Or you're not in the bathroom? Sebastion, where are you? I don't know how big their house is. So if there was a family room downstairs, I might say, Sebastion, yelling down the stairs.
Now, would you would you panic that quickly? Because the way she states it is, Katie's like, no more than 2 minutes. I mean, faster than Candace. Well, Wells. So, that's always been a thing for me as well. It's just like instant panic. Whenever he's never ran off before, he's not a runner, is what the term that the family uses. And like, you might be, I think at the beginning you're going to be a little perplexed. You know what I mean? Like, why is he not in his room? What's going on? Not like, immediately. And
Right.
then by 6:03, she's like in her car.
Yeah, I find that I've looked at that and found that unnatural.
Yeah,
If she
that's
woke up and okay, she does, gets up and knows she's going to his room, opens the door if it was closed, doesn't see him in the bed. Naturally, you're not going to panic. You're not going
right,
to panic.
right.
You're going to begin moving around, saying his name, Sebastion, thinking that where would be the first place you would go when you wake up in the morning?
Bathroom.
There you go. See, naturally. After you
Right.
come out of the bathroom, from getting yourself together, where would you go next?
Kitchen.
Okay, naturally. Okay. Those natural morning things that you do is what you would expect.
Right.
To go into a 3-minute panic mode, head out the door, and now you're looking for you, it's unnatural. And those are the patterns that I look for in when you're talking about behavior statements in a case, naturally from biological parents, non-biological parents, whoever is involved in the case. That's what I'm looking for. Natural, unnatural, then what next? Then what next? Then what next? And I begin to build a timeline from it.
Bingo. And Baby Kisses makes a good point. When we were looking inside the house, I did not notice any closets in that house. Did you notice that?
Say again about
when we were like looking in the house, like on, I think it was Zillow or whatever, didn't notice any closets in that house.
Ooh, okay. I was only able to see parts of the interior portion of the kitchen.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right.
Like
Not many closets, from the bedrooms, to say.
Didn't see any closets. She said she looked in the closets and behind the doors and stuff. And another thing is, she said, well, I went to check the kitchen because sometimes, he's up making breakfast. Well, she has to walk through the kitchen to get to him. Right?
Right. Okay. So
Doesn't make sense.
His bedroom is at one end of the house. Their bedroom is at the other end of the house.
Yes.
They have the master bedroom. He has his room. And then Chris's daughter has a room there for her when she visits with Chris. Okay. So I would, from the angles that I've been able to see the interior portion of the house, think that their rooms, meaning Chris's daughter and Sebastion, would be closer to the kitchen and the bathroom than they would having the master bedroom, which is the bigger portion of the home. Okay. So for her to go to his room, not find him there, check the bathroom, perhaps, look around the living room, perhaps, take a peek out the back area where the backyard is, see if he's on the sun deck, then go through the sun deck door to see if he'd maybe is in the yard, and then come back in the house and then say, did he leave the front door? See, that's a lot of activity to begin just wondering, not going into panic mode, but naturally wondering, where is he? Did he step
Yes.
outside the front door? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mhm.
When they bought, I was gonna respond to something in chat. When they bought the home, they went out and bought new furniture for the entire home. So
Okay.
okay.
I don't see that she's doing the normal things before the panic. Now, after you look through the house, he doesn't show up after 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Then you start going, where the heck is he? At which point I would get a little bit nervous and I'd start looking everywhere. If he's got autism and has some weird habits like hiding and things like that, yes, I would look in closets and under beds and do that kind of thing, trying to find out where he is. She eventually says she opens up doors and yells out the doors and looks out the windows. I want to know, are you running around the house? Because I would be outside looking for him. Is he outside somewhere? I would be checking the vehicles. Now, I don't know if they have a garage or a vehicle in the garage or a vehicle outside. I'd go to see if he's in the vehicle for some reason. Maybe he was getting some papers out of the vehicle. Maybe he did some weird thing. He's hiding in a vehicle. I'd check behind bushes. Depending on how the yard is, I'd be looking all around the yard and in the vehicles and in the garage at any place that he could be. I'd be panicking about that point, but I wouldn't panic right away because he could be anywhere in the house doing something. It would take me quite a few minutes before I'd panic for a 15-year-old. Now, if the child were 1 year old, it would be a different matter. But 15, I'd be looking around, just yelling his name, where are you, Sebastion? And then after I couldn't find him and he didn't show up, I'd start getting worried. Now, after she couldn't find him in the house, couldn't find him outside the house, he's not around. I get that she would call her husband and say, I can't find him. I can't find Sebastion anywhere. Then something else weird happens. They call the police. Why aren't they calling Sebastion's dad? I mean, his biological dad who lives nearby. Why aren't they calling him? Because Sebastion spends supposedly every other weekend with the dad. And is supposedly, I've heard this, maybe going to live with him in the future. It's his son. Wouldn't you be calling up dad and saying, hey, I can't find Sebastion. Did he call you? Did he come over to your house? I mean, do you think did you come by? I mean, she never.
So what do you John, anytime you want me to stop it, just tell me, by the way. Do you have any thoughts? That is another thing, for me, in cases, it's not just usually one thing. It's a layer of little things, right, that makes
Right.
up the whole pie.
Right.
And like I always tell people here, well, okay, so they didn't have him on camera, but they should have a scent, right? But
Mhm.
well, if they don't have a scent, they should have him on camera somewhere. But you're not going to walk out and not have and be barefooted or with socks on, even shoes, and not get a scent. How does a human being not leave a scent behind?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it's related to this. She calls her husband 3.5 hours away. Then they call this non-emergency number. There's not a bigger emergency than your child missing.
Correct.
So,
And when you have a situation like the one that, allegedly from the story and the narrative that was told, that develops, now you look for the natural, as I said. What would one naturally do at that point? How long would it take? And I agree with Pat Brown. It would take you longer than 3 minutes. You would, naturally begin looking places that, would definitely take time.
sure.
if you're checking thoroughly for your, from your own instinct, let me look here, let me go here, let me say his name, let me, and so on.
Mhm.
And then you come to the conclusion, well, hell, after 15, maybe 20 minutes of looking for Sebastion, maybe I ought to make a phone call,
Absolutely.
Now, who do you make the phone call to? Now, who do you notify? Now, in this case, Katie
Mhm.
made a decision to call Chris. Why? That's who she called.
So, it doesn't make sense for, I mean, yeah, I understand her calling her husband. I get that, but call the bio dad as well. And she calls Chris, and Chris says, "Hold on, allegedly, let's make let's make a non 911 call."
Right.
He says to save them time. That doesn't save you time.
Right.
It doesn't save you time. In fact, I think it added time because they called in at like 6:20 or something like that, 6:22, and then at like 6:30, that's when they're transferred to dispatch, because regardless, you have to be transferred. They're going to have to dispatch people, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you call someone, you know, if you and I was on the phone right now and you had an emergency and I dialed I dialed 911 or a non-emergency number, and I said, John is in New York right now and he has a flat tire, something, I'm just making something little.
Hmm.
And they're going, well, I need to speak with that person, right? I need to speak with that person. Now, what gets me about this is Katie says in this interview that he told me to hurry up, that law enforcement was on their way. If you are on the phone with them, he doesn't have to tell you that. Law enforcement is on their way because you're on the phone with them.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, I see your point of view on that. The interesting perspective based on what we know right now. Let's put ourselves in Katie's shoes. Being that she's had a past with CPS concerning Sebastion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we begin to identify the reason why she didn't call Seth. The last thing she would want on her mind that morning was to find out that if Sebastion went missing, she would have to call him to let him know. Now you've got a secondary situation that's going to reignite what happened in California with Sebastion run through his mind and her mind and begin to convolute, if you will, begin to, confuse the whole situation between the two. They'll be on the phone longer, which would obviously take more time because now they got to bicker back and forth as to the past situation. Oh, from just like before, you did some kind of, that kind of reminiscent deal. She called Chris, and however long they were on the phone in order for her to have identified how did he go missing. I'm sure Chris said, well, what do you mean missing? And now she has to explain herself, which had to take more time than 3 minutes from 6 to 6:03 till she's out the door to explain to him what was going on.
What's going on, right?
Yeah.
I woke up, I went to, wake him up for school. He wasn't in the bed, right? So I looked in the
Exactly.
bathroom and I'm looking everywhere. And he's going to say, well, did you check this place? Did you check this place? Did
Exactly.
it's a conversation for both
That's
of
right.
them to understand.
That's right.
And you didn't have enough time for that.
That's right.
Uh, I mean, to call him and have that conversation in 3 minutes, No, no bueno.
Right. And that's why I didn't buy it.
Yeah. Baby Kisses, thank you so much for gifting a pearl necklace. We really do appreciate that. If you received with that pearl necklace, please give our sweet Baby Kisses a thank you. Hey Jude, thank you so much for gifting a pearl necklace. Appreciate you, my friend. If you received that pearl necklace, please thank our beloved Hey Jude. All right.
Calls or says she called the biological father, which to me is the first thing I would do when that kid went missing. I might call my husband, yeah, because he's my husband, but I would call the biological dad just like that. And he's also works for the sheriff's department. So, hey, so it's two birds with one stone. That wasn't done. So that whole morning is questionable to me. Now let's go back earlier in the day. She goes through the things that happened during the day. And the one thing we do not have that I can't find out, I've looked at the website, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation website, which the stepdad says we should go to because that gives us all the information. It does not. I do not know the exact last time that Sebastion was seen by someone or by video other than his parents, the mom and the stepdad. The exact time. Because from that moment on, that's when everybody needs an alibi. Now, stepdad says something weird. He says, we've all been vetted, which is fine. But then he says, we've been cleared. I see no evidence out there that the police have said that these two have been cleared. Cleared is different than being vetted. Being vetted is what you do. The detectives are going to do this. They're going to check everybody that has any connection to Sebastion to see where they were, what they were doing, the neighbors, anybody Sebastion knows, everyone. They'll vet everyone they can. And especially for the mom and stepdad who the child lives with and the bio father, they're going to ask them for their phones and everything. Where were you? Where are your phones? Blah, blah, blah. They're going to look at them. They have to. That's what their job is. Everybody is a person of interest until you can exclude them, until you can clear them 100%. There's no information out there that they have been cleared 100%. So I don't know why stepdad is saying that. That concerns
So,
me.
sorry.
How do you get clear?
So, with that, now Chris has said, literally since his first interview at day 7 or 8, that they have been vetted, they have been cleared. There is no indication of anything nefarious. So that has never been said by authorities. Now, they did say that there is nothing to indicate foul play, that they have said, but they are still a suspect, just as Seth is still a suspect.
Yeah. They're folks of persons of interest right now. That's all they are. They are the immediate parents of Sebastion. You know,
Yes.
Sebastion goes missing when she's in the house. He's at work, presumably, allegedly. Okay. How the story unfolds and what they said to law enforcement, okay, is their statement. Now they have to begin their investigation to sort out the statement, to see if what they told them is correct and effective, efficient information. And no one's cleared of anything until they say so. Not him, not her, not Don, not Candace. I can keep going on.
Yeah.
Nobody until they say so. And it's cleared with the chief of police and the investigators that are involved that give them that clearance. And to me, to clear them from all of this would be to find Sebastion. Period. period. And it doesn't come off my table until I know that we have found him. We know what happened to him. We have, on the one end, rescued him, which would be great. On the other end, we've conducted an autopsy, toxicology, and we have findings of certain things that now tell us exactly what the conditions are for Sebastion going missing. You see, that's protocol. That's what they follow.
Yes.
Well, and then go from there.
And when a story keeps changing, that also makes you look suspicious, in my opinion. It does make you look suspicious. Why does it keep changing? Like on Smiley's live, we asked her what her, meaning Katie, what was the noise sound like in this room, and she's like, oh well, it just sounded like he was just in there playing around or whatever. And then it goes from that to a thud. However, what the neighbors say is, let me find it here. When she went to take her kid to school, meaning the neighbor, she stopped and asked what happened. Katie told her she told Sebastion to go to bed around 9 o'clock. So that stays the same. She fell asleep on the couch, never mentioning the conversation between her and Chris. She woke up around 11:30, went in to check on Sebastion, which she previously said she didn't do. Didn't do now that he's older, rather. Sorry, this text is so little I can't hardly see it. He must have been awake because his light, remember, because they said the light was on in his room. And here, let me just read it. She previously said she didn't do now that he's older. He must have been awake because his light, or the light that was on, according to the neighbor's Ring camera, she said she told Sebastion to go to bed. He had to get up early the next morning. She walks across the house to go to her room to go to bed. As she's walking through the kitchen, she hears a loud noise. She yells back to Sebastion and asking him what that was. He says, nothing, Mom, go to bed. So she does. According to the neighbor close to them, the Ring camera shows the light going on and off because it's so dark. This neighbor also mentions seeing a silhouette in the front room, possibly the dining room window, for a couple of minutes, and then all the lights go off. Neither Chris nor Katie has ever mentioned any of that.
That's a lot of detail. That's a lot of detail from that interview that's missing from the Nancy Grace interview.
And this was what she told the neighbor allegedly at the very, almost hour one, right?
Right.
Because when something goes wrong, like really wrong in your neighborhood, if you're going out somewhere and you see them, you're like, hey, you're okay, whatever. So that 11:30 time is interesting as well.
Yes, it is.
Now, to me, that sounds like something a mother would do. She hears Sebastion still up as she's laying on the couch or whatever, and she goes in there and she says, you need to go to bed. We got to be up early.
Right. Naturally, it would make sense. You hear a noise that you've never heard before. The son's in his room. And the way the narrative goes, playing in his room. I tell him to go to bed. I hear this noise. It was just a thud. But he doesn't check to see for sure if he was okay.
Yeah, it's never just a thud. A thud, we check the definition of it, is like, hold on, what's the definition of a thud?
You can make a thud sound right now, Justin, on your table.
Right.
By balling your fist, ball your fist, and just hit the table.
Yep. A dull, heavy sound, such as made by a object falling to the ground. Move, fall, or strike something with a dull, heavy sound. Thud.
Enough that she heard it if she was on the phone with Chris during that time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember there's certain things simultaneously happening.
Mm-hmm.
While she's reading a book, she's talking to Chris. She hears the noise and tells him, knock it off, go to bed type thing. And then she resumes her phone call.
Mm-hmm.
See, but Chris never brings it up.
Well, here in this first story, there's never mention of Chris at all. And, you know, then Chris comes in the picture, but she's walking toward her room, which would, like, she's at the kitchen area, like literally the other side of the house. And she hears a thud, says, "Are you okay?" You know, and yes, Mom, I'm fine. Go to bed.
Now, she has inserted Sebastion in her statement because of the reply that she stated that Sebastion said to her, yes, Mom, I'm okay.
Yes.
So there's an indication at that time of the thud of Sebastion in the narrative.
Yes.
You see? No other proof of life from the time she told him to go to bed until the time of the thud has been on the table, has come out, other
Bingo.
than the statement she made. So now we're at that 9 o'clock point, 10 o'clock thud, 11:30, the lights go out moment. So we're in that timeline.
Crafting and True Crime, thank you so much for gifting a pearl necklace. If you received that pearl necklace, please thank our dear Crafting and True Crime. Thank you, Miss Jacqueline. Really do appreciate your support. All right, here we go.
By the way, how does that actually happen? That happens that from the last time that child was seen by someone outside the family or on video, from that moment on until he supposedly disappeared, that's when you have to have an alibi. So I don't actually know when the last time Sebastion was seen outside of the family home. She does say they were out doing all kinds of things during the day, and then they came home and they had dinner. So I'm going to say from dinner time on, it seems like nobody saw Sebastion except for the mom and perhaps the stepdad, which is another huge mystery, because the stepdad, I can't seem to get solid information as where the heck he was. Now, I know he goes out of town and stays out of town for sometimes a week or two at a time, and he was supposedly in Memphis, but when? Originally, I was under the impression that he was with them that day. And he even looks over during this interview about picking up a niece as if he were there. And then it seemed to me, from what I heard before, that he left for work, perhaps around 9 o'clock that evening. Somewhere in the evening, he left for work and then drove down to Memphis. But I don't have that information. And they are.
So, this, Chris, if in this interview right here, you see Katie look toward Chris, to talk about what they spoke about, or who they picked up that day. And she looks at him and she like she's needing confirmation. And Chris looks up and he goes, like trying to recall something, which I find very interesting. I do want to play this.
But that statement,
Mhm.
if I could, the
Please.
statement that Pat just made is very interesting. She puts Chris at home
Mm-hmm.
when they got back from dinner.
Mm-hmm.
That's her statement. I
Yeah.
thought he was at home, getting ready to leave for work, because normally high power crane operators work Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Basic, whether it's 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, then everything shuts down, because you're not going to come across a power crane operator at night working on construction. So when
Yeah.
they were on the phone and allegedly they went to bed at the same time, at around 12 o'clock, when they got off the phone, Katie's getting ready to fall asleep, and he tells her to put the dogs away and go to bed.
Another thing that Chris and Katie have both stated is that when Chris is out of town, the dogs sleep with her.
That told me that he wasn't working at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened up the timeline for me. It opened up the timeline for Chris. Now, he could have been anywhere.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit, because we've got some things that I've spoke with people in the neighborhood about.
Much
But I
love
want
to
you to
chat.
listen to this. This is 55 seconds.
Whenever she was given like the description of what he was last seen like in the black outfit, is that something that he wore to bed?
Yes. So he wore, like I said, it was the black pants with the white stripes down the side. It was a long sleeve black shirt. It was not a hoodie. It wasn't a sweatshirt. It was a long sleeve black shirt.
And y'all think that he went out the front door?
Right now, that is the best assumption available.
Y'all don't think maybe he might have put a sweater on or something? I mean,
that right there would be an assumption, and we never saw him.
Yeah.
We never, hold on.
What he went through that would be an assumption, and we never saw him.
Yeah.
We saw what he went to bed in, and that.
We never saw him. We saw what he went to bed in.
See, when you hear a statement like that, it puts them together. Period.
We saw what he went to bed in.
Right. See, that puts them together. Just that statement alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have to agree with Pat. They need to stop these interviews, because they're breaking their entire narrative up, and we are catching it.
Yeah.
We're catching it. And then when we come back to challenge it, we get the response from Chris that is out there on the internet now, and he's trying to beat down everybody to, knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
You want us to knock it off? Stop talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he hasn't been talking as of lately, because I think he's, got his daughter and stuff with him right now. So, it's probably been the best for him. But I'm going to play this one more time.
That is the best assumption available.
Y'all don't think maybe he might have put a sweater on or something? I mean,
that right there that would be an assumption, and we never saw him.
Yeah.
We saw what he went to bed in, and that was it.
Well, that's why
we saw what he went to bed in, and then he's going to say
that right there that would be an assumption, and we never saw him.
Yeah.
We saw what he went to bed in, and that was it.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, so it's not exact information if it was an assumption.
yes. he also says in another interview, if that would have happened, we would have seen him, and something about them going to bed as well, I believe. I want to give credit, and the link is in the description. It's a channel called Missing in Plain Sight. They're just starting their channel, but great work that she's doing
Good
there.
capture. Good capture on that.
Yeah.
Because now you hear something different. And it's
Correct.
not coming from Katie as the narrative began with. Now it's coming from Chris, and he's actually calling it, that would be an assumption as to what he was wearing.
Bingo.
They're clouding their own narrative.
Yeah.
That's my viewpoint of that.
Exactly, Twisted. Good to see you, Twisted. Okay. All right.
Was that Twisted Reality?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
He's the one that
okay.
did the
the video.
Yeah.
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 Thank you,
Great job.
Twisted.
So vague, which is odd to me. They're super vague about that, because it would seem to me if he was down in Memphis and could not have been around to do anything to that child or to help move that child in any way, in that case, I would be shouting to the hills, and I'd have her shouting to the hills that stepdad, Chris Proudfoot, was in Memphis from he was down there all week long and had not returned to the family home until he was called and told that Sebastion was missing, at which point he drove home. I do not see that information. And when she talks about the day, she is very vague on the we. So I don't know why she would not be saying, if she was home just with Sebastion, he's out of town. I don't know why she would not be saying, well, my husband, Chris was out of town working in Memphis. He hadn't been home for the last week. So Sebastion and I got up that morning. I made him breakfast. We went out and did these things during the day. We came home. We had dinner. Sebastion and I had dinner together. And then I told Sebastion to go to bed at 9:00. But she uses this very vague we, as if he's actually maybe in the home during most of this time. And going with them. I can't figure it out because it's so vague. If you all know that, a link, let me know. And interesting enough, one of the weird things that Chris Proudfoot keeps saying is, she says, I don't look at the internet. I'm done with that. Good. She should be done with. She shouldn't be wasting her time carrying what I say or any other person says who's on the internet. But Chris Proudfoot says he's all over the internet, watching. Why? This stepchild is missing. What do you give a crap what I think or what anybody else thinks? Only person that matters as to what you think, what they think about you, will be the bio dad, your wife, the police, and maybe people in the community who you want help from. It doesn't matter what I say or what any channel says. And you're there paying attention. And even says, you can contact me and I'll answer your questions. Contact you where? He doesn't tell you where you're supposed to contact him at. And why would he want to answer random people's questions anyway? Who gives a crap what random people say? Chris, what does it matter? But okay, I'll throw out one question. Where were you?
If my child was missing, the last thing I would be doing is just answering like random people's questions. You know what I mean? Like trying to make them and telling them, I'm innocent. I don't give a fuck what they would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
be out searching. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. So you want to help search? Come on down.
Searching, not online, not on the internet, not trying to have interviews to absolve yourself of any wrongdoing at all. Be out searching. Be in front of the news reporters that are following this story. Okay. Hand out flyers, knock on doors, coordinate the community to join in, things of that nature. I said that about Don and Candace, you know, but what did we see them do? The same thing.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It took them 13 days to get in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Now, do you know Terry Lynn?
I believe I subscribed to Terry Lynn, 2 nights ago. I think she was on
Terry Lynn, she's a
live.
local. She's a local, and she knows everybody, like everybody. And she was getting some information, and there, you know, if you get off Friday, right? You know, after you get off, Chris is probably going to come home on a Friday, right? That makes sense if you're going to come home on the weekend.
Yeah.
There was allegedly a poker party at I'll say family, even though they're not technically family, they call each other family, from what I understand, at this house. And a source who was at the poker party said that Chris, I guess Katie and Sebastion was at that house on Friday night with the poker party.
Okay.
And allegedly Sebastion was on a laptop, and he got in a lot of trouble for being on that laptop.
Okay.
So, you know, they didn't want him on any type of social media, Chris, you know, particularly. So, but she did speak to one of the people that was there at the party. So
was Terry Lynn actually there?
no, Terry Lynn wasn't there, but she spoke to a person who was at that party.
Okay.
And that person says Chris and Sebastion, and I assume Katie, was there.
Indicating that they were together on
Mhm.
Friday night with
Mhm.
Sebastion at this poker party or poker game, whatever, at someone's house. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nice Marie. Still wonder if Katie had to work that Monday morning, her day off, ? Later shift, vacation, ? Even did she call work to let them know what happened that day? Own boss, just a thought. I think they're maybe independent contractors. I don't know. That's a good question. But did she have to work that Monday? I would assume so. But we're going to get into all of that shortly.
The day before Sebastion went missing, where were you? Were you at home for breakfast? Did you go out to these different places during the day? Or did your wife go out?
Yes, and that's a good comment, Ginger Girl. This was one of the men that works at like the construction, like he works construction. He builds homes. What, the poker party, John?
I'm sorry, say again.
The poker party house.
Right.
This is one of the I guess the owner of where the poker party was taking place.
Okay.
Is he builds houses with I believe Chris's mother.
Okay.
So there's that.
Out with Sebastion, you stayed in the house. Were you there for dinner? Were you there in the evening when Sebastion was then supposedly told to go to bed and then you drove away? Where were you? That's the one question you don't seem to want to
Hey,
put
John,
out there.
check
And I
private
would
chat.
think if I were out of town, I'd be shouting that to the hills just to make sure that people did not think I was involved in any way, shape, or form. So if there's not proof that you were 100% out of town and never, ever returned from Memphis until that morning that you were told that Sebastion was missing, you do not have an alibi and you are not cleared. And neither is your wife. So I look back at that evening and I say, okay, if Chris was home, if he really was home and left at some point, then I find something rather interesting to me. They seem to be perfectly excited about people turning in videos. They weren't worried about the lights in the back, the lights in the yard. He says, oh, that's meaningless. And I think that may be true. I went to the website and the TBI website. It did seem to say that they weren't overly impressed with the lights that maybe weren't even related to their backyard. However, they don't seem to be terribly worried about the movements that morning. So my question is this: either they have nothing to do with it. In other words, if their vehicles aren't seen running around, if mom's vehicle isn't like coming out of the driveway at 3 o'clock in the morning, going somewhere and coming back, I don't know if they have any video that's and any kind of CCTV in that area which would catch their vehicles. But and where if you were, I don't know. I just don't know what the video situation is as far as coverage for proving that the two of them did not leave the home and put a child in their vehicle and drive the child away. I don't know what they have for that. But here's why I wonder if it doesn't matter. If stepdad was home that evening and he was going then to work as he regularly would, drive down to Memphis, maybe leave at 9 o'clock at night, drive down to Memphis, get him stay wherever he's staying. Who is to say that Sebastion was alive at 9 o'clock at night if he left the house at that time? She's saying that they had dinner together. So the last, as far as I know, the last known that Sebastion was alive and well, I don't even know when that exactly was. Late afternoon, early evening, I don't know. But at some point, they were alone in the house. If something happened to Sebastion at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, whatever, she's been saying he went to bed at 9. But if he went to work at 9, it doesn't mean that he couldn't have left with Sebastion in his vehicle. And then she claims, after he's already driven off to Memphis, she claims in the interviews, I told him to go to bed at 9, meaning he was alive at 9 o'clock. And now she's added something in this interview, which I find interesting. She didn't say it before. She says she heard noise in his room at 10 o'clock. She said, well, stop doing that. Get, stop doing whatever you're doing. Go to sleep. So now she's trying to indicate that he's alive at 10 o'clock at night. Is that again because?
She said, what was the one thing she said? Bubba, are you okay in there? And he said, yes, ma'am. And then the other story is, I don't care what you're doing in there. Knock it off and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
One is a question, and the other one is a statement.
Correct. One is a question of concern.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay in there? I'm waiting for a response.
Right.
Statement is, go to bed, knock it off.
Right. I don't care what you're doing in there. Knock it off and go to sleep.
Exactly. And it becomes it breaks it in half, because
but you fall out of the bed.
Yeah.
But you fall out of the bed. Yeah.
Definitely. It breaks that particular part of the narrative in half. Question versus statement. Did you make a question to Sebastion, or did you make a statement to Sebastion? And I'm sure that the investigators on this case are taking a look at these statements that we are going over here tonight, and putting together two stories, two narratives. One is theirs, and one law enforcement gleans from the first statement. And that's giving them the evidence that they need as to whether these two need to be re-interviewed with proof at that time, according to the original statement and narrative. Well, you told us you made a question here, but hence now we have learned that you made a statement here. Which is it? And they have to begin to explain the narrative again to them. And it's a time process. If the police need to, lean back on the Proudfoots on this, because I would. And that second interview, be it together or separate, I would have them both together as they gave it to confirm the first statement that they made. And then I would do it separately.
Yes.
Let's go back over your first statement. Let's go over your second statement. And now with just you, what do you have to say about both of these? Because there's a pattern here of inconsistency that we see. Do you see it too? And that's why I named the first part of getting into the story. And thanks to you tremendously for carrying this story on your channel. I said, let me take a look at what Justin is doing.
You're doing a great job.
So thank you. Thank you for bringing it to me to look at in a way that, gives you some support, definitely support of what you're doing on your channel. Because when a kid goes missing, like the West Boys did in California, classic and sincere, and you know that because you've covered that case as well to a degree and everything else like that. We're here to support. We're here to, bring awareness to these cases.
Yes.
And let people know to keep their eyes open in the location that these cases come from.
Right. All right. Okay, let's we'll finish this up just a couple more minutes and then we're gonna really want to hear your
she
thoughts
wants
on
to
what I'm
make
gonna say.
sure everybody thinks he was alive somewhere at that point in time at night, in the evening, in the later evening. She wants people to believe he's alive, because if he left the house, if he drove away at 8 or 9 o'clock or 9:30 or whenever, she would want to make sure everybody thought he drove away, and then Sebastion was still alive. But what do I know? He does not seem to want to say where he was. And I don't think the police have made it clear that he was not in town that day and evening before Sebastion was known to be missing. I don't understand the silence on that. And that doesn't make you look good. And so this is the kind of things that if you're going to do interviews, you either want to focus just on the kid and not tell stories that you keep changing and not have information that isn't there that people are suspicious about because you don't want to talk about it for some reason, which makes little sense unless something is not quite right. And to say you're cleared when the police have not said you're cleared, to say that you're concerned about what people are saying about you on the internet and you're spending time doing that is not a very good look either. And you wonder why you care. So these are the red flags for me that have popped up in this particular, this interview. Her changing story about the morning that she went to find him, and the fact that she's so quickly upset rather than looking around for the child who she now says hides behind things and gets snacks and does all kinds of stuff in the morning. So why wouldn't he be somewhere else in the house? Why would, in 60 seconds, would you freak out? So her story is strange. We don't know the exact last time Sebastion was absolutely seen. I haven't seen that exact number. I don't know where the stepfather was that day or evening. And I don't know whether it's possible that the child left in the stepfather's vehicle that evening. And that's why once he's out of town, nothing matters after that. What people's videos show, what lights are rolling around, nothing matters after that, because a child is not in the child was already taken away. I'm not saying these things happened, but I'm saying this is what the interview makes it look like to a profiler. And I would think to a detective. Detectives watch these interviews as well. So you're not doing yourselves a lot of good. If you're innocent people, stop doing interviews like this, because you're not clearing things up. You're making things look worse. I say again, the other thing that I just put back in there bothers me is that she didn't call the biological father, didn't call Sebastian's father when she couldn't find him. You would think she'd call right away and say, hey, is he at your house? Did he call you? Do you know anything is going on? And she didn't do that. That says something to me. So those are all the things that bugged me in this new interview. I'll stop there. Whether I'll speak on this case again, I don't know. It again depends on what they find out. It's been 3 weeks now. Sebastian's been missing. Chances of him being alive are not good. Why? Because he doesn't have any money. He doesn't have the ability to survive on his own.
Yeah. So it's really sad. Really, really sad. Want to give Pat Brown a big thank you for her services. She's incredible. Really do love her work. Truly. Okay. So, John, this is where we're going to get to the nitty gritty. So, I've spoken with neighbors, and I have recently spoken with a new neighbor who, I guess would built some trust up, right? And there's that. So, I want to talk about the scent on the pond. Okay. Everything that I'm saying here is allegedly, it is theories, it is not a fact. So there's that. We're going to be talking about opinions, hypotheses, theories, all that. Okay. All that. So, the scent. Remember the scent, and everyone kept thinking, there's people out there that still say, that is Sebastian's scent that went to pond, right? And law enforcement has stated that there was no scent of Sebastian. But we do know that there was 3 dogs that picked up a scent from the house to the pond. I've never believed that Sebastian's scent. I've never believed it because of there was nowhere else, right? However, I've okay. Yeah, so there was no scent of Sebastian, but there was a scent.
I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
So what I was speaking with one of the neighbors is they believe that there was a scent, all right, from what they have seen, heard, and spoke to with others, but they don't believe it was Sebastian's scent, that it is a scent from the house, if you get my drift,
I'm following.
of perhaps someone else, perhaps someone else. And they think that this person's opinion thinks that it might have been someone who went to perhaps wash their shoes or change their shoes or their boots. You got what I mean?
Yeah, at the retention pond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That they perhaps went there to wash up their, whatever, or change their shoes or boots.
From the house,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about items like boots with a scent that Sebastian's scent would be on. Saying?
No.
Okay.
So the dog may have got, a scent from the house of, someone or something.
Who was at the house
Mm-hmm.
that went over to the retention pond.
Mm-hmm.
That scent, that
Mm-hmm.
was the scent that was picked up.
Yes.
Okay.
A scent.
A scent.
They said a scent.
Uh-huh.
Now that is what this person there, because we've always been thinking about it as it's either Sebastian or it's not.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We've never thought about anything for anybody else. You got what I mean?
So what you're talking about is transfer.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how scent works that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's what it sounds like to me. Someone who was at the house investigating, working in the house, whether they are a technician.
No, that's not what I mean. No. Okay. Let me put this in private chat.
All right. Because that's what it sounded like to me. You were getting ready to
someone that may
say something about a transfer. Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the scent that was found over at the retention pond, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Right.
yes, I am well aware that they didn't have Sebastian's scent yet, but it did pick up a scent. A scent.
Okay.
Right. And just shoe prints at the pond. And there was, I don't know if it was shoe print. There were shoe prints at the pond. And, I would be interested in knowing, like, is anyone else in the house missing any shoes, boots? Things like that.
Okay.
You get me?
Yep.
This is
the retention pond that's about 10 to 15 minutes. That would
it's on the other side of the complex.
Other side of the complex.
Yeah, neighborhood rather, not complex.
Okay. Right. I think I covered that.
Right. With the red line, remember, and it goes straight up Kellen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And So there's that. We've been looking. It was a size. Well, we don't know what size the shoe print was. They ask in the like when they're talking on the walkie-talkies, they said, what size shoe is the boys? And they say size 10. We don't know what size the shoe print was
Okay.
at the pawn, though.
Okay.
So we can't say that it could have been, again, it could have been any size. I have no idea what the size was.
All right.
So, well, reality, that's what size they say. They asked, they said, what size shoe does he wear? And he says 10 or 10 and a half or something like that. So
now, when you say they, you are meaning the source, not law enforcement.
no, when I say they, I'm talking about the dispatch people saying, we'll listen to the dispatch here in a second.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. I don't know what size Chris wears. I really don't. I have no idea. And I'm not going to say anyone is ever involved. I think but I'm just telling you what we discussed and some of the things that they have brought up to me.
Right. Okay.
So everything's allegedly. So after speaking with some people, could the scent be of an adult in the home? 3 dogs picked up a scent. 3 dogs picked up a scent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay.
this is what a theory and opinion, hypothesis, whatever you want to say. So we were talking, and they think that someone was later on, they believe that Chris was there in the evening. That's what they told me, that they believe.
Okay.
They believe that
he was there at that location previous to
I'm just trying to be
the search.
Careful, because this is just another person's opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
And based
I
upon
follow you. I follow you. Yeah.
But
I'm glad you took the time out to preface it carefully that way.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Right.
On this case on the internet that I
Right.
know that you are very careful in your research, so
yeah.
I'm glad you
So
prefaced it. Yeah.
there's no way Chris wears a 14 size shoe. It'd look like a clown. If he wore a 14, he's not that tall. So they believe that a person walked behind on Kellen in the later in the night, and that someone picked them up.
All right.
Okay. Someone picked them up, and that they left.
Justin, just before you do, because now what I feel,
Mhm.
what you're trying to explain and describe
Mhm.
needs to have a visual. I put something there in terms.
Janice, thank you for becoming a member. Really do appreciate that.
Okay. So that
Welcome
we can
to the
take a
Pearls.
look
Mhm.
from the perspective of where you're coming from in this, and now you can guide us a little bit better, and the chat can see it a little bit better. And if I need to
Mhm.
blow it up, you can tell me blow it up a little bit, John. Go
Yeah,
deeper,
can you zoom
John.
in a little bit?
Yeah. Can I zoom in a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this person says that, well, it's not just one person. I've talked to, a lot of them,
Yeah.
that someone could have been a stranger. It could have been, who knows? It could have been someone, whatever. Walked from the backyard over to Kellen, the street over, like behind the house. Yep, like walking through someone's yard,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And that a vehicle picked them up later on in the nighttime, like not early morning hours, but late, like 11, 12-ish or something. And they left. And then a little bit later, said person comes back to where we see the cameras in the car. Yes, there's three. Yes,
Okay.
right there. And that is when
The lights.
the lights and the flashlights and stuff go off.
Okay. So now, looking at it with your description, to get over by car,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to back up from that spot. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
from those lights, okay, as we're speaking, hypothetically, back on the Kellen, back up, leave the area, come down to the main line street. The only way by car to get over to that retention pond, okay, would be to take the street down this way.
Mm-hmm.
And enter this way by car.
Well, but hold
Not
on.
not unless, and this is just Google Earth now, not unless there is a dirt road from the back end of
Well,
this street where the cul-de-sac is.
I'm going to pop up my Google Earth for a second,
Okay.
if you don't
All
mind.
right.
Boogie, thank you so much. Does this make sense as regarding to Sebastian's meds? Were all meds accounted for? Good question. From day meds were prescribed, were they correct number of meds missing, or was there extra pills according to prescribed amount rather? That's a good question. I don't know. That's one of those things where Chris and Katie will say HIPAA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good question. Good question. And see, this type of conversation that we're having makes connections with a lot of different people who are in the chat right now, who may have a situation where they have a special needs child who
Mhm.
has autism and is prescribed medication. But
Right.
that would be private, of course, information because of HIPAA.
Right. So that scent supposedly came from like the front area over and around and straight up
Okay.
and then over.
Okay. So now we're talking about a road. Now you got that road right there. That's critical. It's a
Yes.
back end road that is paved out on the map as not a street. Is that a street we're talking about? Is it designated a street road?
I
Yeah,
don't know how updated it is now.
you
You
have
know
it
what I
right there.
mean?
What does that say? What does that say?
It says it's Parkenham Drive
Okay.
Road,
Okay. So
Willow. I mean it.
okay.
So, but then there's a pond. I think that's a pond, maybe. Um, that looks like a dumpster. Maybe it's a house. I can't tell.
Okay.
But it comes from here. You know what? Is Spirit Seeker in here?
So
Is
what? So
Spirit
what you're saying is that a scent from the house showed up at that retention pond, but
No,
it was
I'm saying that
that's where the
there
false positives came up.
I'm saying that there is, 3 dogs that says that they got a trail to the pond, right? Law
Okay.
enforcement says that it was not Sebastian scent. Hold on one second.
Okay. Because that
Sorry
would
about
be
that.
no, that's okay. That would be the
So,
first place they did check right away.
we can, you know what? Oh, what I do? Shit. Okay, there we go. Okay. You want to listen to the first dispatch?
Yes, of course. However, you have your point that you want to get at, definitely, I'm here for that.
Okay. Credit goes to missing in plain sight.
Central to 47. Central to 47 and 184.
24 Long Haul Site, 360.
Hey, missing juvenile, 1008 Stafford Court, 1008 Stafford Court, Hendersonville. Caller advised this morning they woke up and their 15-year-old male was not in the bed. We have white male, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants.
Hold on.
Juvenile does have
Yeah, Cassie Deal, you're absolutely right. HIPAA does not apply to anyone other than healthcare workers. So, but Chris used,
autism.
he used it in a thing. You're
This is
right.
the first time it happened. I was going to be in the home before midnight. All the doors are locked at this time.
10-4 Monroe.
So far, so you know.
12 Central.
12, go ahead. I say you know.
8-5 clear verbal warning.
Got it, I had to clear verbal.
47 Central.
47, go ahead.
Yes, I see. Juvenile has a phone.
So then I asked the call taker to ask if the juvenile has a phone. Great. Central to 68. I am Mrs. Fire Call.
Yes.
In the area of Dean Plant Road and Newton Lane. Caller very back of truck is on fire. Pulled over on the side of the road. Caller's no longer answering call taker's questions. Central to 47184 and 12. Juvenile left his son at the house. The mother is driving around looking for him in the Victoria Place subdivision, and she is driving a baby blue Infiniti.
47 to 12.
It's coming up here where they talk about the pond.
Still on search of the residence. We'll go from there.
184, Erica A. Bookie 02197. 02197. And the call 634. Sure.
Biggest chance. Can you call all of the local hospitals just to make sure he's not in one of those?
And what?
68 Central on Payne.
Partially on 45. 12.
Good, cool.
I said there's no medical center ER, center station ER, Summer Regional ER, and Skyline, all clear of the juvenile. Also, I do have a 911 hang up in pending at 132 Hollywood Boulevard, Zone 1. There is no call history, and they've attempted language line with no connection. Do you want me to clear it?
10-4 Central, you clear. 68 Central, K9's on the ground.
Copy, K9 on the ground.
Right here.
Hey,
Copy
Jake,
K9 on the- Here it is.
63 Central.
837.
I'll be 10-6 at Cairo. Well, we're going north. On the staff.
47. Code Red has been launched. That is the Code Red has been launched. That is the
One open animal farm near Happy Hollow, Center Point area. Go ahead. Next big track back up. Going into the construction site over here. Back
Here we
towards
go.
the beach. People on behind you. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything? You shouldn't have any shoes on. Negative, this is all dry, hard packed. Out of Stafford Court. LT, we're now headed back south towards the cemetery on the far end of the construction site. Simple, I can see you. I do have some footprints over here. Right there where you're standing? Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining pond.
Leading right there to the retaining pond.
No shoes, just footprints. My shoes that Max went straight into the pond.
Shoes. Max went straight into the pond. You hear that, John?
Yes, yes. Cemetery. I heard cemetery.
Yeah. I think it's behind the church. It's right here. I'll show you.
Yep. Let's take a look.
Reality Wins, thank you so much for gifting a pearl necklace. If you received that pearl necklace, please thank our sweet Reality. Thank you, Ben George. Paraphrasing here, canines recognize the adrenaline scent of fear sent when working around the scene of a violent act. The hounds get wired every time they hit the adrenaline scent, and they really work that tail hard. Oh, really? The dog went right in.
Okay, so the scent was an adrenaline scent.
No. We don't know what kind of scent it was. He's just saying some dogs, can have. So I don't want that out. No.
Okay. Okay. Scratch it. Scratch it. Okay.
Yeah. Scratch that. What is it? Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. E. But the scent, sorry, not the scent, the cemetery is right beside that church there.
Okay. Are you showing us on the map so we can see it?
Mr. E, thank you very much for those. Mr. E sent me
Oh, Mr.
to-
E is in the building. Okay.
Yeah, let me
I've come
switch these.
across that channel too.
Mr. E is, I believe, local.
Great conversations. Great conversations from his channel.
The videos might help. New neighborhood starts out at 5850. Let me bear with me 1 second. 1832. Okay.
Everybody's got us working tonight. This is how you do it, though.
Right. Zebra Girl, thank you so much for becoming a member, my dear. Appreciate you. Credit goes to Mr. E Crimecast. Thank you for sharing, Mr. E. Please drop Mr. E's link, mods. Really appreciate it. Okay.
You look at a map and navigate and that kind of thing. And that culvert she mentions that he could get there. So that's interesting to me because that seems like a lot of cognitive ability. You'll see here, that's a pretty decent distance with a lot of turns. So now we're basically getting on to what's known as Vietnam veterans or the bypass.
Which is the path you think she would have taken.
This would be the path that I think is the most logical to take, like if you're just trying to get home quickly.
Right.
But there is another option. We're going to show that later. So this is exit 7 off of Vietnam veterans. We're going to their exit, which will be exit 6. So pretty short drive here. So I don't know. What I was thinking when we were going through here was looking for places you might pull off. Or,
I think maybe I'm
if
at
you
the
had
wrong
a meetup,
timestamp.
a rendezvous.
There's really
Oh,
not.
5850.
here.
Sorry, I'm way
I guess
off.
you theoretically could have had somebody pretending to be broken down.
I think 5850. Okay. All right, here we are.
And Mr. E is not a fan of these houses on the left with the.
Okay, Mr. E, am I at the right timestamp on this one? Is this the new neighborhood? Thank you for subscribing to Mr. E.
The new subdivision, right?
Yeah, the new subdivision. This is the new construction. Perfect. Thank you.
The back garage.
And
The ones on the right have normal garages.
and the front yards are like a pit.
Why do you think it looks
No,
like
they
a pit?
they literally have like a pit in the front yards. It's like there's no front yard. But no, the ones we just passed. on the
Oh,
left.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like a terrible place for kids to play and that kind of thing.
They're very close together.
It must have just been they had no choice,
Right. Maybe you got a discount if you picked a pit yard.
I bet actually.
Okay, so this is the end of the road where the construction is. You may stop.
Thank you,
Are
Crime
you-
Critter.
Yeah, no, I think go until we're angling.
You
toward
received
where his
that
entry
membership.
would be.
Thank
Well,
Crime
his
Critter,
entry's
please.
not here though.
It'd be
It's way far
it'd be
back
up
there.
there.
It's way far at the top of that hill.
Yeah. So like if you remember when we did the other video and we
Okay, now if we're here, where's the
pulled up to where you would enter the
Where's their
construction, that would
neighborhood?
be up in that top left area. That's where the neighborhood entrance would be. So it'd be like 200, 300 yards to get down here. And it may not look like it on this video, but that's a really steep hill too.
And it's also got that red clay mud that we've talked about
Mhm.
before that would definitely show footprints
And that-
or tracks.
That green hill to the left is really steep. You're not walking down that. You're falling down that if you try to go down that hill, especially barefoot at night. So, again, it's just the middle of the night. Imagining walking through that somehow, it's just impossible to imagine, and not leaving a trail and probably falling down a couple of times. But that kind of gives you an idea of what that space is like. And I know this fits in a lot with a lot of the theories that are out there too, but of course, all this equipment, this would be different now. I'm sure they've done more work in 3 months than what's going on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So this wouldn't be an accurate shot of the day, but at least kind of gives us kind of an idea of what the terrain would have been similar to.
It's
Really far. That's really, really
Yeah.
miles and miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, nothing nearby here.
Yeah. All right. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to see where
thank you,
we're
Olivia.
at.
Yes, please hit the like button to help out our channel. Thank you, Olivia B. Please like and share.
Aunt E, you missed it. Olivia B is our first official moderator.
That's amazing.
We're fancy.
Thank
We're
you,
fancy.
Olivia.
Okay, is that a pond right there? Looks like a pond, doesn't it?
I can't tell if there's any reflection coming from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a pond.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
the rest of the neighborhood.
I'm reading a lot of these. You guys are kind of having the same thoughts we are. Like my life, didn't KP say all the doors were locked? If so, he ran away and locked the door behind him. Of course, that doesn't make sense. You're right. Blue Eyes says it's not just that. I just see how no one would have any footage of him if he walked out that door. He is 15, autistic, no shoes. He's not the Invisible Man. I mean, if you wanted to put the problems with the story, that's it in a nutshell.
Right.
Right there. Right. And that's it. It's all the factors.
And we can actually, I've got the other video from the first, last one we did, available if we want to go through the neighborhood. Again, if people want to see the other side of the construction.
Yeah, because we don't know who's new tonight.
Yeah.
And wasn't here.
So this is essentially
inside. You've got the Rogers home. Sure.
Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay.
20 door cams. If we just sat and paused and started counting all the security cameras on this street.
Okay, this is Keller.
So we were back in then.
Yeah, this is the original video we posted the other night, or not posted. We talked about the other night, just so that you said you might want to go over some things real quick.
Yes, and the dog also allegedly hit on the dumpster site as well. John.
Oh, okay.
But again, we don't know who sent it was, but there was a sent.
Sure, coming into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for orientation, on the left-hand side, you've got the Rogers home. Sure.
And then you can hit that button to go play.
All right, you're trusting me with the techie stuff.
I am.
I don't.
That's you can figure it out.
I think
play enough videos.
I got it.
I'll be back.
So on the left-hand side, you have the Rogers home, and then up the hill, we're going toward the construction. Earlier today, when we were showing the new homes, the construction area, that's to the right. And then behind us is Long Hollow Parkway, which was that main road that eventually takes you to his high school beach. So the reason we were showing this the other day was just basically to show the path that Sebastion would have had to have taken if he were going to the construction site. And kind of stuff that we talked about the other day was basically that there are no sidewalks, there's no street lights. So that does make, that really does hurt, because if you had street lights, the cameras would have done, maybe got something. So that's a shame that they don't have them over there.
I know with our security system, we get notifications every time there's movement in our driveway, movement at our front door, movement at our back door.
The Ring cameras, you can actually see.
So,
okay, this is it, John. Right here. This is what I was looking for. Right here.
All right.
There we go. Right here.
Also, if there were lights, you would be able to see that movement, and people would have had notifications. Now
is what the retention down here is the retention pond. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. This is the entrance to the construction.
Okay, so this is coming off of Killen?
Yes.
So you'd go all the way down Killen, hit the end, and then there is a right turn off of Killen at the very end that pitches over to what we
Yeah.
just got finished seeing.
Yeah. So if you zoom in a little bit with your map there, right? All right. Zoom in a little bit more. All right. Yep. All right.
So
See right there? Yep.
we're down
Right
here.
there. Bingo.
We're down here. That's what
Bingo.
Okay, so there is construction, dirt road through this area here. We don't know how far back it goes.
Now, Mohawk says there was no road there then.
Right. Okay. Good video, Mr. E, because it tells me a right turn. This is a back way to this area here. Tells us from the house off of Stafford, Kellen, all the way back to the cul-de-sac to the left. And that's the road that begins to enter this area here to the back end of the construction that's going on back here. Interesting. Okay. So the retention would be back here somewhere.
The retention pond is right. Oh God, it's there's two right there. You're almost to where the green is. The green, like right there. Well, yeah, one up, just a tad right there. There, I think that's the retention pond.
Okay.
And that's the one, right, guys? Went the other week.
Because if it's back here, it's
Maryland
ideal.
went there the other day, and there's 6 ponds there. Yeah.
If that retention pond is back here, this is ideal. It's isolated, no cameras, nothing. That's number one. You're not going to drive a regular Toyota back here either, because it's rough terrain, number two. There are no lights back here, number three. Tracking a scent makes simple sense because it was off-road. It was off-road. Okay. Come back up a little bit. This is ideal. Because whenever I looked at, my maps and everything else like that, I looked for isolated areas.
Yeah. I don't think that's, I've never thought, and law enforcement says that it is not Sebastion scent. Right?
Right.
But, speaking with others,
that's where we have to be careful when it comes from others, because if it's not firsthand, and it's coming from another outside source, this is where caution to me.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean,
I play caution.
None of us know because we're not law enforcement, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, but I think Bobby, and she said that her kids were like in the area whenever the dog jumped in or something like that. But I don't know. But these other people that I'm talking to.
Now, the dog jumping in, when it was taken out, did it jump back in?
I have no idea. I have
Okay.
no idea about that.
Because if you get a hit on something, a secondary jump or secondary action, and you pull a dog from an area you feel handling canine or something like that, the dog jumps again to the same location, would be a strong indication that they're getting a hit on something. So that's what I was listening out for, confirmation from the dog jumping in the first time, then being pulled away. Did the dog jump a second time? Because when
I
they
don't know.
usually jump
Hey,
a second time,
John, I'm going to let you talk for a second. I just got a text from a source, so I just need to.
okay,
They're
yeah, okay,
watching. So I'll be right back.
not a problem. Do your thing. Yeah, that is what I would pick up on. But the conditions, we're talking about the month of February. It's winter. Temperatures are about 28, 30 degrees, give or take. You're taking a back road. And this is where law enforcement is hoping that cameras on Kellen from Stafford come into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, to the end of Kellen, cul-de-sac to the left. I would want cameras. I would want a camera here from this house. I'd want a camera from here to the left, here to the left of that house. I'd want that direct camera here before I get to this point here. They got a lot of video to watch. Now you've got a road that's back here. No lights, no cameras. Dirt road. So you'd have to have a vehicle that's going to handle terrain. Comes into this area here, however, which way it did to get to this area here where a retention pond is located. Somebody didn't want to be seen. Point number 5.
Okay. There is a canine handler and trainer. She just messaged me. I'm not going to say her name or anything because she
No,
doesn't.
okay, understood.
She said she's been a canine trainer and handler for 30 years. A police dog for apprehension does work on adrenaline. But anyway, that's not the point. Like Ben said earlier, they do some work on adrenaline, like I guess the apprehension
Yeah,
works
that's
on
good
adrenaline.
information, though. I mean, it is a chemical.
There is, however, a what they call a family scent, but if they use scent articles, the canine would track only the individual. If you want more info, oh, sorry, not that part. But if they used scent articles, it would only track the person's scent. So there's family scent, and then there is
individual. Yep.
Individual.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can get a truck, 4x4, Jeep. Like I said, it would have to be the kind of vehicle that can handle terrain, something strong. You're dealing with a construction area, ground that's not set yet, lights that are not there, buildings with no cameras there. So I mean, if what we put together is an isolated area, which it is to me.
Mhm.
It is an ideal area to look. Now, if a scent showed up here that wasn't Sebastion, however, you can have a scent picked up here that was part of him, not him exactly, barefoot.
I don't think it was. Well, it's not Sebastion.
Exactly. That's why, what I've understood working with the police department where I live and the canine events that they have
Yes.
is when you have a shepherd or you have a trained dog. Let's just say shepherds are great. I love them.
And the retention pond, I don't know if you know this or not. It was drained and walked and all of that as well.
Right. Okay.
Now, what the neighbors could not believe, every neighbor that I've spoken to, they say that they cannot believe that, like they just kept working in the neighborhood, like they didn't clear it or anything at all.
Right.
And one neighbor told me that they was like even bulldozing while like some trees or something and dirt, pushing it all the way to the back. And she's like, why are they doing this whenever, there's, they got scent dogs? They should have cleared everything, you would think.
Yeah. Well, when you have a technician from law enforcement, whether it be forensics being worked in that area, which I'm sure that they, have and are doing, TBI working that area, Secret Service working electronics. You have a number of different agencies working this particular area to see if they can pull something from this, obviously. First location of interest, this would be it, number one. And then taking soil samples, pictures, and then working backwards at the same time to collect anything else in visibility. What do you see first from this location coming out from it? What is the closest home, road, light, etc., that one would go to? Let's just say if it was him, this is how they methodically begin to think. If Sebastion was here, he's an autistic child, 15 years old, out here barefoot. He sees homes somewhere, lights from homes reflected from the interior portions of the homes. It's February, folks. It's a cold month. I mean, to me, from New York, it's cold up here. What would you go to? You're out with no jacket. You're out with no coverall. Nothing else but allegedly what you went to bed in barefoot tells me that you have an alarmed person who has been on high alarm, running away or coming from something of harm. So there's a high fear factor here. Adrenaline is a part of it. Something he's running away from to protect himself ends up back here. So now he's got to seek help. Where do you get that from?
Well,
then you can, go from there. But that didn't happen.
Why does the scent, if it was Sebastion, I mean, you just don't vanish after you right. So
and even so, if it was unseasonably warm, let's go the other way. It's not as cold, and he wasn't worried about being barefoot. Okay. This is where scent becomes more prominent in warmer climate than it is in colder climate.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're going to have more, let's just say, scent particles, both on the ground and in the air if you're barefoot. Even if you washed your feet before you left the house, let's just say,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have that body scent still come off of you.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables here. And so, shout out to the canine unit and all canine units that have to go through, processes like this, because to go where we just came from, this is an incredible situation here.
Yeah.
But no one, once again, has seen Sebastion leave that house. Regardless of what direction you point into, there was no
nothing.
sign of him. Correct.
All of the neighbors that I have spoke with over a period of time, they say he would have been picked up. He would have been, every single one. They're like, how does a boy just vanish? Right? They don't. But that's what it seems like.
Yeah. So there, I would figure, and this is just me, I would figure law enforcement would continue if they already concluded that. We're 4 months in, so I'm sure they have concluded samples from this area, which would hold deeper evidence of whether that scent is true or false.
I mean, it has to be, it would have to be alarming, even, if this scent is nothing, whether it's, related, unrelated or whatever, it would have to be alarming for the dog to, do it, and he jumped in. And
Right.
then there's an alleged scent at the dumpster. I mean, that's going to send off alarm bells initially until you figure out if, what's what. So there's that.
Also, too, if the dumpster is involved and there was a scent of some sort that was picked up, you'd look for the same reaction.
Thank you.
You pull the dog away and see if the dog jumps back. Pull him away again, see if he jumps back, and he goes hard. And you got a hit. You got some kind of a hit that gives you a better indicator that something is here. Whatever it is, something is here. And now you've got that to isolate, to sort out as well.
I've always been troubled by the pond, and no shoes could, he gotten out, lost his shoes in the pond, and someone then went to retrieve those shoes, leaving a scent. Well, I mean, that could be a possibility, but it's not a probability, because where would, he should have a scent, and he should be on camera, right? And they say that isn't, I mean, police say that is not Sebastion's scent.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Right. I mean, that's not my opinion or anything. They say that is not Sebastion's scent. Now,
Right.
Chris has always said they got a scent. They got a scent. They got a scent. So there's that.
Which is not a part.
That is true. All the shoes were
not a
accounted
part
for.
of the
That is
police
true.
report.
Thank you,
If
Mr. E.
Yeah, if the police say that they can report a hit, a scent, then that's what they do. If it's nothing, they're not going to report anything. But if someone now comes behind them and says, oh, yes, there was, you can take it with a grain of salt.
Mhm. I mean, they said that they picked up a cent, from what I understand. Now, well, I'm going to dig a little bit more. There was, I think there was, was it 3 dogs that picked up a cent?
According to what Chris had said, that from his statement, that there was 3 hits the dogs made. 3 cents, 3 hits. This is what he's talking about. Law enforcement told him Katie wasn't there because she never said anything about it if she was there to Nancy Grace.
Mm-hmm.
He led that conversation with Nancy Grace pertaining to the hits. But the Navy crew that was out there searching said, no, we didn't pick up anything, nothing.
Brenda, the time and the date are both off, but I can assure you it was that night. It was on the night of the 25th going into the 26th.
Right.
The time and the dates are off, but the car came there. Now, that is something that they will not, anybody will not speak about. They won't speak about it at all. What kind of anything else?
Regarding
else.
The
car.
The lights?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, because they didn't feel that it held any evidentiary value.
Well, that's what he says. As of now, it's of no evidentiary value.
Yeah.
Right. And guys, I'm not saying, listen, I want to make this clear. I am not saying that this is anybody's scent. I'm not. I'm telling you what the neighbors, a neighbor feels like, that from things that they said that they seen, that they've heard, and that they feel. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all
What someone
Holy
had
macaroni. Oh my God, Ben
What happened?
George.
What happened?
I mean, 50 memberships?
Wow.
What?
Yeah. Ben George is awesome.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ben George. Like I get shy. Things like that happen. Like I don't know. Thank you so much. I don't know what else to say, but thank you very, very much, Ben.
See,
much.
So now for me, looking at what we've just covered, and thank you, Mr. E, for the video, which is very important and critical.
Hold on. Elisa, I can tell you something. The neighbors do not believe Chris. Now, no, absolutely not. They trust. They do not believe Chris. They would just as soon have him go sell you home. That they don't. That I can tell you. That they can tell you. Cheryl, thank you so much for becoming a member, my dear. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Very sweet. Very sweet. Thank you. But they that is their opinion on things. It's they're never mind. Go ahead.
Since we've covered this aspect, I was thanking Mr. E for The video clip that him and his associate that are on the case had made regarding the drive. It's important. It gives detail. We get to see, not from Google Maps, but boots on the ground, information that's real. But it now takes us back to the point of origin, which is the house.
Yes.
We go back to the house. I go back to the story, go back to the narrative. Got glasses that are not in the house that Sebastion wore.
You know what? Something, this is crazy to me. Chris's sister, she says that they had been looking since 6:30 that morning. Well, she couldn't have been there at 6:30. There's no way she could have been there at 6:30 unless she was right around the corner and she would have gotten there 30 minutes before law enforcement. And then she writes, Sebastion left the house with his glasses. That is such an odd thing to say. Why with his glasses?
Yeah, how would she know that?
Well, I mean, like, what's the point? I mean, what? Like, with his glasses? Well, how about just the main thing about Sebastion left the house, right?
Right.
I've got that somewhere. I'll show it to you. Hold on. I see you. I'm gonna text you something.
That's where I go. Right back to the narrative, location of the house. I want to do forensics in the house. Everything. I want to get something from the toothbrush. I want to get something from the hairbrush. I want to get something from his clothes. I want to get something from the mattress. I want to get stuff from the pillowcase. I want to take a look at Sebastion's room to see how he kept it. Obviously, electronics. Where he spent most of his time when he was indoors. I know I would want to check the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a 15-year-old growing up, and I've had them in my life, 15-year-olds love the refrigerator.
I want to show you this.
I want to check to see what was held in the refrigerator that Sebastion liked. Drinks, foods, snacks. Where is Sebastion's stuff for a 15-year-old type, situation? Yeah.
Melissa writes, "Hey everyone, this is my nephew." Which there's a picture. The picture's gone now. I got Kathy here. Don't worry about that. But hey everyone, this is my nephew. He is high functioning verbal autistic. He walked out of the house in the middle of the night with his glasses, a small flashlight, and no shoes. With his glasses. That doesn't make any sense. We have been searching since 6:30 a.m. yesterday. They are searching a 10-mile radius. That's not true. It was 5-mile radius around the house, but I'm worried that he may have gotten in the backseat of a car, fell asleep, and woke up after someone got to their job and got out of the car. It's possible. I'm trying to think outside of the box to help find him. It's just hard. You never know what these kids think. Please be on the lookout. It's just weird to me. Yeah, and but John, luminol or anything was never used. By the way.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, because you have it's not a crime scene for the particular item out of forensics to be used, based upon visual observation by law enforcement once they got there. Okay, someone is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you need luminol for? Type stuff.
Right.
But just common areas, common places you would want to know where he spent most of his time. And if it was in his room, I want the room processed. You use the bathroom, I want the bathroom processed. If you use the sun deck in the back, spent time there, whether it be on computer, Twitch, anything else like that, you have to get the let's just say the subject point of view of everything. If you'd love to spend time out in the yard, where? Where did he go in the yard? What was about the yard that was a favorite location he would like to go? Things of that nature.
Yeah,
When we're talking about, because when we're talking about a child of 15 with autism, routine is so important.
and Jamita, you're absolutely right. And that's assuming that there would be like blood or anything like that. There's many other ways, without, blood everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Thank you again so much, Ben George. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he snuck up on me too. He snuck up on me too, big time too. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, sorry. Seth said Sebastian would spend most time in his room, and that's Katie just makes it sounds like we got home, he took out the trash, and he was in his room all evening. If it looks like a chicken, walks like a chicken, it's Christopher.
See, me, I would want to know, from the time he woke up that Sunday until you got home, how was he?
What's
Katie! Christopher! Katie! Christopher! Katie! Christopher! Katie!
Never gets old. Carmelita lives for the screaming chicken. So never gets old. But look, can you zoom in there, John? Like, you can walk between the yards right there. And there is a path that is between the 2 yards. It's what are they, like a right of way, I guess?
Yeah, it looks like some kind of a walk up to the gate, and then you have your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
This is to the other, to the backyard. This is accessible to the Proudfoots. It goes to the backyard. That gate creates a boundary. They had to have it high enough and identifiable for Sebastion.
Yes.
Okay.
Ben says, I really have a hard time with the autism part. I think it's overblown and misdirected. I think, according to his friends and, people that was run, they said that he just was just like any other kid, like they never even noticed. I mean, in my opinion, it couldn't have been too severe for him to be diagnosed at 14, right? I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't, not the connoisseur on this, but
got an upper room here. It's got a window to it. So there was an upper room type situation on a ranch style brick face home. Come back. Justin, do you know what this is?
what's
This
that?
might, do you know what this
That
is?
it's a electric transfer. It's for electric. It's an electric thing for
Like a box or something like that?
yeah,
That-
yeah. It's um trans. I don't want to say it's an electric box. That's what I call them. That's all I know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because the first place I was looking to was the home next to it. That would be to the right of it. This home here, 2 doors, 1 outside light. I was looking for cameras when I was profiling the neighborhood.
That's a good. No videos. Why? Shows how functioning he was. He would have fully dressed with shoes and coat to leave. Very good point.
And the street being as dark as it would be, with no lights, nothing.
And fiber or internet box, Ben says as well. Could be true.
See, everybody's saying, well, what door was Katie talking about? I don't know why he walked out that door. To make a statement like that, I said, well, Katie, which door are you talking about? Are you talking about the front door? Or are you talking about the door
Oh,
to
let
the
me see if
back,
I can find something
to the
here.
backyard, to the
See if I
sun
can
deck in the
find something.
backyard?
I got it right. Let me see here. Go ahead. If you want to talk
Yeah,
a second.
no, I'm just saying, she doesn't know why he walked out that door.
There was no reason to walk out the door. You have to have a reason to walk out a door, and then you have to have some sort of evidence that he walked out the door.
That
And
he
there is
walked
no
out that door.
evidence.
Correct.
There's only just that he's missing.
Right. Right. Nothing was ever mentioned about a back door, but that door. So
Yes.
generalities and vagueness made me question which door is she talking about leaving the home from? Nothing there. Never mentions it. Chris doesn't mention it. All 3 interviews, chronicles from Olivia, Nashville News, Nancy Grace. I said, okay, that's interesting. It's never brought up specifically. I thought Nancy was going to be a little bit, she was going to jump into zeroing in on certain locations of the home. But obviously, she was doing this and just having almost to me like a preliminary interview. She did very well. I have to say that. Props to Nancy Grace for putting it out there. I got a lot more from Nancy Grace's interview as to what the Proudfoot said than the other 2 interviews, but the other 2 interviews showed us a different light. Nancy Grace's interview to me was coached. They had a coach, people coughing in the background, nuances and noise and looks over the camera I caught, especially from Chris. Olivia's interview was great. She allowed them to just be themselves.
Yep. That's
Uh,
the best thing you can do is
yeah,
let them do the talking.
yeah, they were more personable. There was full expression there. They were comfortable. No, nothing nervous. There was no high tension. Nashville, we picked up tension, a lot of stress in that one. So when I did my analysis of all three, I'm continuing to do my analysis of all three because that's where I'm getting the information about these two, both Chris and Katie, as to tells and no tells. You know, so to me, it's, you know, they're playing a poker game and holding their hand tight, very tight in terms of specifics and non-specifics when it comes to details.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to find something.
And I want to say, if I could, much love to the chat. Much love to you guys for hanging out with Justin. Him inviting me up to be a part of tonight's live to discuss the details of certain things and to give you also the best visuals that we could to try to explain what we are observing in this case. So much love to you.
Of course. Maybe this is it, I think.
My very first reaction was, oh, he got up and got breakfast. But when I realized he actually wasn't.
Thank you, Darzilla. Did they say he wouldn't have went out the back door because he didn't like the sound it made? Yes, that's what I'm trying to find actually right now. They said he wouldn't have went out the back door because of the sound that it made. Plus, he would have had to have a key to lock it. Those are the only two doors. So
In the house, let
me see here.
A lot of new runoff. I'm 5'9", and it was deep. Okay. So, and they even drain it.
Son doesn't run. He's not a runner.
I'm trying to find
like
it.
if you I was just wondering, like, if you like, are you
long haul fight called Victoria Place. Okay. Thank God. As soon as you turn in our subdivision, you're on Kelly. Driving all the way up to the very top of the hill at a four-way, you'll see that to the right they're cutting in a new road that will link all this together. Okay. At the detention point.
And do you know how much they actually drained?
They drained the whole thing.
It's okay.
So initially, when they went over to look at it, it was only knee deep. From the picture that you showed me, there's a lot of new runoff. I'm 5'9", and it was knee deep. Okay.
Yeah, so if Chris is 5'9", and he wears a size 14 shoe, he would look like a clown because I look like a clown already because I'm 5'9" and I wear an 11.5. So if he wears a 14, that's all I gotta say.
Tell you about it, right?
He was put. So nobody. I think so too, Lisa. I think something.
And yes, Miss Hope Floats, I was able to listen to Nina's interview. And I thank everyone that was on my live last night in regards to this case. A lot of commentary in my chat regarding the Nina interview, Chris's ex. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to unwind, lay down, listen to the interview. And it was a lot of information giving profile about Chris.
Did you watch the Nina interview yet?
Yes.
Yeah, that's tough. Betty, paying it forward my gifted membership. Thank you so much, Ben George. Love my pearls. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Wow.
You know what a sea bag is, John?
A who?
A sea. Oh, a sea bag.
A sea bag.
Yes.
The letters C and the word
SEA.
bag.
Sea bag. It is what anyone in the military they get, and it is a very strong, very large. It is scent proof, waterproof, all that. It's they give them in the military, and you can throw it in the sea and it won't get wet. Your stuff won't get wet even.
So it's an item that's highly waterproof, water resistant.
It's a bag that's waterproof, smell resistant. I don't even. Yeah, it's
Wow.
like
Okay.
and all military brings them home. And I was speaking to someone who's in the military, and they was giving me that. Thank you, Ben George. When more kids are mean, can we agree? If Sebastion was as quirky as it made it out to be by CP and KP, wouldn't there be reports of bullying? I could be wrong, but his peers thought he was just another kid, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So how big is the sea bag? Is it a portable something you can carry, or is this a big item?
It's the sea bags are Army calls them duffel bags. Yeah.
Duffel. Okay.
Well, that's what Army calls them. Navy is a sea bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what brought that up? That type of item up in your mind?
Well, you see, my theory. One of my theories is they said Sebastion, had accidents in his pants sometimes, and allegedly, Sebastion didn't even have really any underwear at Chris and Katie's because Chris said he got mad because Katie was having to bring him clothes to school all the time if he had an accident.
Right.
And I think, and allegedly Chris was always bitching about the house smelling like urine. Yes, Osama bin Laden was buried in a type of sea bag. Yes, he was. Yep, sure was. But so I would assume that there would be a mattress protector on his bed.
Right.
Well,
that
now
would
what
make sense. That would make sense.
It's for liquid.
Correct.
Right. I mean, it's almost like a plastic bag over your entire mattress.
Yeah, I
mattress.
showed that last night on the live. One of the items of point of interest that we discussed. Yeah.
And what do you if there was any sorts of accidents, you wouldn't there would be nothing on him,
on the mattress.
Right.
Yeah, it prevents stains, both liquid and obviously solids, from seeping through into the mattress. You'd have to take it off. It's like a fitted sheet. It's quilted. It's 100% polyester.
Yeah.
And you can just pull it up like a fitted sheet, dump whatever solid, matter that might be on it, If it's liquid, it'll capture it, but prevent it from going into the mattress. Obviously, you want to protect. You'd have to machine wash it in a gentle cycle, to get it clean for it to be reusable.
Yeah, that pissed me off, that criminal. He was known at school for liking to piss in his pants. Oh my God, that's terrible. So does it prevent smell from the inside out?
If it's protective from seeping into the main mattress component,
there wouldn't be any scent.
It will. It will absorb that. That's all it's going to do. It's there for it. Absorb smells. You'd have to catch it, obviously, and pick it up and take care of it right away. If it's urine, liquid.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben George. I know, SW, it's terrible. Say something like that. Yeah, I am too, Bear. Absolutely nothing can stop that. But also, in the beginning, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, when you talk about that kind of an item, I was thinking about concealment. An item that can be used to conceal temporarily. This is not something that you can do and let it linger. In other words, you have an emergency or a situation or an incident that takes place, and this fitted covering over the bed is a part of that. You'd have to take care of it ASAP. So this way you can handle it properly. If it's too far beyond a time limit of doing what the cupboard is supposed to do, then, and you don't take care of it, then you're going to have a problem, because that's going to begin to obviously give off odors. And if that was the case, then you can link that to some kind of neglect.
Yeah.
Because it's not being paid attention to. Yeah.
Exactly.
Justin, much love to you, man. Thank you so much for having me on your panel.
Of course.
I do have another roundtable meeting I got to get to. It
Awesome.
is pertaining to this case, but I truly appreciate the work that you're doing on your channel.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
And the team that you have on your chat is awesome.
I got the best.
Moderators, much love to all of your moderators holding it down too, because this is a very sensitive case. It has touched people in different ways, and everybody's responding to it. That's for sure.
That they are. It's, everybody's got an opinion.
That we can see, because they put that on in the YouTube street.
Yeah. And everybody's got a right to their opinion, right?
Absolutely.
Because like I said, this is what I try to bring people back to reality. Whatever happened to Sebastion on the night of the 25th or the 20th, going into the 26th, has already happened to Sebastion.
Right.
None of us know. We're all trying to figure this out together, and all of us have different ideas.
Right. And in taking a look at it as novices, handling true crime, because this is a point of interest for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
The hard work is on the content creators out here on YouTube to try to handle content as best they can. And some of the things that they can get into, whoa, that is not even my neighborhood. And anybody that knows me knows my neighborhood, because all that is blocked.
Yeah, we keep it on Sebastion. We keep it on target.
definitely. But
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Justin, whatever you do, stay you. Stay just the way you are.
Thank you.
You're blessed with a talent that captured my admiration for you, the work you do on your channel. Because I, like I said before, on my channel, I said, he thinks like I do. He takes his time.
Yeah, we got very similar
looks
thought
at
processes.
things, he listens to things. And you've captured a great audience, a great connection with people, and in a way that, yeah, they can trust what you can deliver. Just like I feel you've delivered here tonight. So my
Thank
compliments
you.
to
Very
you.
kind. Very kind. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Anytime. Anytime you need me, well, you got my phone number.
Are you going live?
Not tonight. No, this will
Okay.
be a private background work
Gotcha.
meeting type of situation. We're
I
looking
was going to
to
send them over.
put together some stuff. Love to have you. I will mention it. I'm looking at Justin, and so are other people. I think he would be pretty good behind the scenes.
No worries.
Working this case, and we'll see what happens.
Sure.
We'll see what happens.
No worries. No worries.
But,
Thank you so much.
I'm going to jump down. Much love to the chat. I love every single one of you for supporting Justin. Supporting Sebastion is the key in this case. Let's put our hands together and pray for Sebastion's safe return. Safe return. The other thing, is something, we're going to leave a little bit behind us, but that's starting to creep into.
Yeah. Amen.
So God bless you, man.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. Woo! And there was one. All right, y'all. Really appreciate it. We're almost at 3 hours. So I'm going to call it here. I will be live again tomorrow at some point. I'm going to try to figure out some more stuff and we'll see. So I wanted to share someone's opinion on that. Take it for what it is. It's just another opinion, like there is from all of us. Just trying to find Sebastion. That's the main thing we're here for. I want to thank Don, grandma of 11 months. Thank you so much. Love you, Don, so much. Appreciate you. And Miss Cecilia, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We got some really good mods for sure. Thank you all again. Thank you again, Ben George. Appreciate you. God bless each and every single one of you. I will see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing, or somewhere on these YouTube streets, as they say. Love you too, Miss Fletcher. Thank you, dear. Appreciate you. Thank you, my dear. Love you. Oh, thank you, Valentine. Love you too. Appreciate you. Very sweet. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you guys for all your support. Riss, thank you so much for 6 months. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much. Mr. E. Okay. Gotcha. That's awesome. Very good. SW, 1 month. My time is short, but it has been awesome. Thank you, SW. Really do appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, y'all's. Okay. True Sleuth. Good job, Justin. Keeping on target. Keep it up. Thank you. Really do appreciate you. Guys are amazing. All right. I will see you guys on the next one. God bless. See you later. Bye-bye.